Hi guys, hope you're doing well. It's Ben again, back with another video. So today, if you're someone who works in corporate sales, they work 9 to 5, whether that's recruitment, whether that's car sales, whether that's for a big company, right? Whatever it might be, any kind of sales. I mean, I've worked with guys who have sold doors before. So if you're any kind of salesman who works in that kind of corporate 9 to 5 sort of job, then this video is for you, because I'm going to run you through exactly the differences between high ticket sales and corporate sales. And I'm just going to put it all in the bubble of corporate sales just for the sake of this video, but just run you through exactly the differences between the two, the differences between the different skill sets that you need, and yeah, just give you an overview, because again, I've worked with people who have done both. I myself have never actually worked in corporate sales, so I'm not going to pretend that I have, but I've spoken with a lot of people who have. So let's dive right in. We're back to the Miro board. You guys know I love those. So yeah, corporate sales versus high ticket sales. Like, what are the key things? So I think a really good place to start to begin with is earnings, right? Earnings and commission structure, because they are very, very different. With high ticket sales, typically there's no base. So it's pure commission, right? You get paid for however much work and you get rewarded for how well you do. Whilst with corporate, you typically get a base of around 1.5 to 3K, and then you get small commissions on top. So I think if you're someone who doesn't like to put in effort into things, and I guess it's hard to say that because you might be in a corporate job where you know you're capable of putting in the effort, but you just have no desire to. Maybe you work for a boss that you don't really like. Maybe what you're selling just doesn't really interest you. Whilst with high ticket sales, if you know you have the work ethic in you, then transitioning over is going to be great, because if you put in the effort and the time and you get really good at it, then you will make more money, right? Yes, it's going to be a bit scary because you're not going to have a base, but by not having a base, your earning potential goes up massively. So you're not capped. You can make way, way more, which is great. Alongside that, it's like I said, it's results equal reward, right? Nothing is capped. So if you close as many deals as you can, if you can just keep closing, you can just keep making as much money. As long as the calls are being booked on your calendar, you keep closing them, the amount of money you're going to make is just going to keep increasing. Whilst I know from speaking with people that in corporate kind of sales environments, your commissions are capped, right? You can only make a certain amount commission on top of your base every single month. And not only that, but bonuses are tied to very rigid targets, whether that's team targets. So, you could be putting in tons and tons of effort in 1 month and you could hit all your targets, but if the team don't, then you don't get any reward for it, right? So with high ticket sales, it's almost as if you are the business. If you put in the work, if you get the results, you will be rewarded for those results, right? And I saw this with a guy who I work with called James. He used to hit all the targets himself. His team wouldn't. He wouldn't get the commissions he wanted, which is another reason why he transitioned into the high ticket space. And then lastly is the commissions. Like, it is very, very possible for you to be making 5 to 10K a month through high ticket sales, pure commission, right? Even more, like if you work for a good company and you're good at what you do. Whilst I know in corporate sales, if you make an extra 200 quid a month, like, that's a great bonus for you, right? And I'm not trying to look down on you and say, oh, only £200, but it's more so, if you think £200 is good, you're going to be surprised at how much you can actually make through high ticket sales if you just take your skill already, bring it over, tweak a few things, land a good role and get really good. And yeah, it's easier said than done, but it's just the potential and the vehicle you're in can make you a lot more money. And that's the way I like to think about it. At the moment in corporate sales, you are in a vehicle. You're in like an old beaten up Beetle, right? It can go up to 60 miles an hour, but it doesn't matter how much more you press that accelerator, how much harder you press, you're never going to be able to go any faster. You're never going to reach the goal quicker. You're not going to make more money. It doesn't matter how hard you work because you're capped. Whilst with high ticket sales, you're in like a Range Rover, a brand new Range Rover. If you press on that accelerator, you're going to go 100 miles an hour and you're going to get to your goal a lot quicker, and you're going to be able to make a lot more money whilst you do it. So that's the best way of thinking about these two in terms of earning potential. So overall, it's a meritocracy, right? You get rewarded if you're good. If you have the skill and you perform, then you will be rewarded by getting more money. And that is essentially why I love it, because I think that if you are someone who is absolutely crushing it in corporate, then if you come over into high ticket sales, like if you keep that same work ethic, there's no reason why you won't do well. You will become the best. You will become the Usain Bolt. Right, that's the thing, is you're a one-man team in this, whilst in corporate, I know you're in a big team of other people. So earning potentials is one. Secondly is day-to-day life and schedule. So with corporate sales, right? And again, I don't want you to think I'm just shitting on you if you're watching this and you're thinking, right, who is this guy to be telling me all of these things? Right, I'm not shitting on it, I'm just giving you the facts, right? These are the key differences between them. So in corporate, fixed hours, right? You're working 9 to 5. A lot of the time, from what I've spoken to people about, it's more like 8 to 6, right? With high ticket sales, you can work remotely, right? You can work wherever you want, whether that's your home, a cafe, different countries, Spain, Montenegro, like I have, those 2 places, Bali, like I am now. So you can work in different places, right? Your schedule, not your schedule, where you work is dictated by you, right? Do you still have to do the work? Yes, you do, but you can do it from elsewhere. You get to choose, which is huge, right? Secondly, is the leads, right? With corporate sales, a lot of the time, you're going to be cold calling. You're going to be speaking to leads who don't actually want to speak to you. Whilst with high ticket sales, when you become a closer, you are speaking with warm inbound leads who have been pre-qualified. These guys are already interested. They're already interested in what we do. They've opted in to what we do. So it's so much better because you're speaking with people who actually want to speak to you. They're actually interested. They've shown an interest in what you sell, which from me speaking with corporate guys, they love it because it's like, shit, for the past 2 years, I've been cold calling and it's one of the worst things ever. Whilst this is just, it's different kind of game. And then lastly is the office politics. Right, with corporate, you are in an office, you're speaking with loads of people, you have bosses, you're micromanaged, right? You have line managers, all these different types of things. Whilst with high ticket sales, you have a lot more autonomy. Yes, you probably will still have a sales manager. Yes, you're going to be working for a company, but you have a lot more autonomy, right? It's outcome focused, right? As long as you do the work and you close the deals, the business owner is not going to care. It's not about the amount of hours you do, it's about the results that you do. Right, you're not going to be forced to be on calls from 9 till 5. You take a certain amount a day, you close a certain amount, happy days. If you don't perform, then you're probably going to lose your job, but that's okay because you have to get good, you have to learn, right? There's a lot, the best way to put it is it's less bullshit, right? There's less of this kind of corporate environment, jumping on pointless calls. It's no, these are the calls, you take these calls, you close these deals, you make this money, business owner's happy, you're happy because you get the commission, happy days. Right, that is basically what it is. So again, the other thing I really like is you're working for really cool guys, right? In corporate, like you're working for people who, a lot of the time, let's be honest, they're grumpy. They probably don't really like what they do. They've been doing the same job for 20 years, right? It's not really a nice environment for someone like you, probably in their 20s. Whilst when you meet these other business owners, these online guys, right, they're much more open-minded. They're a lot more fun. They're good to meet. Like I've met guys, I've had business owners like Jansen and Alex who I've worked for. You know, they flew me out when I was 20 years old to Ibiza. I spent a weekend with them. How sick was that? Right, such a cool experience. I met their friends. This guy here, who was an absolute weapon. Right, we had a sick night out, all of us. Right, I've met guys like Will here, who he took me and Carter, who we worked for his company as sales reps. He took us out on a boat in Montenegro, paid for everything. Right, these guys are a lot more generous. They're a lot more open-minded. They're just cool people to work for. And the difference between them and the corporate guys is that open-mindedness. Right, you learn so much more from these guys and they're a lot more down to earth. And again, it allows you to be able to travel. Like this is a photo of me and David. David's one of my friends who I used to go to school with. I hadn't seen him in like 3 years. Through high ticket sales, I was able to go out to Madrid. I was able to spend a week there. I met up with him on a random Tuesday, ran out, had a few pints with him. And that was because I could work from wherever I want. So it gives you that flexibility, which is so good, being able to do that. Thirdly, is the lifestyle. And this kind of is similar to what I've just said, but the lifestyle and the mental health benefits, because I know that kind of sounds woo-woo, but you get to build your own schedule with high ticket sales, right? You build a schedule around the life that you want. And that's different for everyone. Like for me, I want to travel. Like I want to experience different places, different cultures, and it's allowed me to do that. Like these photos here, like this, the lifestyle that I lived when I was in Montenegro. I was there for a month. Me and my friend Carter, who I worked with, this is me and him here, like we would work. Like it's not like you can't just not work. You still have to work, but it's just being able to get up in the mornings, walk down, jump in the sea. We would do that every morning. We'd get up, go down. It was a cool routine. Jump in the sea, go back, have breakfast. You get sunlight. It's hot. Then you jump on your calls. You feel so much more energized. You feel so much more better, right? You compare that with the UK. You get up, you commute to the same office. It's rainy, it's dreary. You're speaking to your shitty bosses who are depressed and grumpy, right? The lifestyle's so different. This is the same here. Like this was when I was in Marbella that was our balcony. I took loads of calls on that balcony. It's just nice, just being able to do that. The sun's going down. You're on a call with someone. Yes, you're working, but it's different. It's different kind of work, right? It's so different. Just a photo there. That was the last evening that we went for a swim. If you're watching this, Carter, I miss it, mate. Really do. Travel friendly, right? Your quality of life increases, right? Which again, like you can focus on things like the gym. You go to the gym when you want, right? You have time to decide what you want to do when you want to do it. So you're leveling up not just money, but your lifestyle. And I think a lot of people who watch this, a lot of people who want to make more money, they want to grow personally as well. It's not just about the money, it's about the experiences. You're not just here to make money. Because trust me, I've met guys who just sit at they have this online freedom, but yet they just sit at the same desk every day. They stay in the same hometown. They don't even experience the world. Like the whole point of doing something like this is so that you can experience the world, you can travel, you can do these things. And if traveling isn't something that interests you, then maybe this isn't the best thing for you. But the whole point of doing this is to give yourself more freedom. So you can go to the gym, you can get bigger, you can prioritize doing these things that you love, growing personally developing, as well as making more money. It gives you more of an option to do that. Whilst again, with corporate, you're working a 9 to 5, you have to commute to the same place every day. So you have minimal time, you can't go to the gym. It's 9 to 5, they clock your hours instead of your output. It's hours versus output. Whilst with high ticket sales, if you put in the output, you close the deals, you could work 2 hours in one day, you close 2 deals. Business owner is going to be happy with you. He doesn't want you to be wasting the rest of the day just sat at your desk mindlessly doing nothing. Whilst most people in their 9 to 5, right? And I've worked a 9 to 5 before in a hotel or hospitality, a bit different. But you have hours of the day where you're just not really doing anything. You're on your phone, you're watching time go by. Whilst with this, when you are working, you're on and you're switched on and you're putting in effort. But when you're not, you have time to do all these other things, which is huge, right? So again, I think the key thing is your quality of life increases massively when you have the freedom to be able to go to new places, experience new things, and set your own schedule whilst you do it. So that is by far the coolest thing about high ticket sales, is you can do it from wherever you want. Come to places like Bali, like I am now. So those are the main 3. And lastly, the final thing is long sales cycles versus short, right? With corporate sales, the sales cycles are very long, right? And this is what I've learned from speaking with people, is it takes months for deals to come in. You could plant a seed, it could take potentially 6 months for that deal to come through and you to finally get your commission. Whilst high ticket sales, the sales cycles are very, very quick, right? Obviously, ideally, we want to get you to close the deal on the call. So you could meet someone and after 45 minutes, they could have paid you $4,000, just an example, and you can make $400 from that. Commission there straight away. It might take 2 calls, maybe 3 calls. You might have to follow up with people. That happens. Look, you're not going to close every deal. You're not a magician, right? But my point is, maximum it's going to be maybe a couple weeks, right? Which is so much better because you just get paid instantly. You get paid for your effort straight away, which again is massive, right? You want to be making the money. You want to be rewarded for the effort that you're putting in right away. You don't want to wait 6 months, right? Unless you're a weirdo. Like, why would you want to wait that much longer? So yeah, those are the main things. So to kind of give like a conclusion, high ticket sales for you is if you are someone who desires working from wherever they want, whether that's being able to go and see your grandparents for 3 or 4 days, right, and be able to work from a desk there and spend time with your family. It's small things like that which are great. I remember last year, it's probably about a year and a half ago now, I went down and spent a couple of days with my granddad, with my mum, and it was great because I could just work down there and I could spend time with them. I didn't have to take any kind of holiday, right? You don't need to take holiday, which is amazing. Like that is, in my opinion, the biggest benefit of doing it, right? You work for cool people, right? You're working for people who are doing something different. They've got an online business. Like it's really, really cool to work for these people and learn from them. And again, it just goes back to the fact that when you go into these businesses and you learn sales and you learn how these businesses work, like it's so key, because then later on in life, when you want to start your own business, you've learned the fundamental skills through being in these businesses and learning sales, so that when you start that, you've already got 3 legs up. You're already 3 steps ahead of everyone else. You get paid for your performance, right? You're like the business, right? The better you do, the more you get paid. It's a meritocracy, right? So if you're someone who likes to be rewarded for their effort instead of their time, then this is for you 100%. And you live on your terms, right? You have a schedule that aligns with what you want, your location and your time preferences. Look, I'm not claiming you're going to be able to kick your feet up on a beach in Bali and have cocktails and do absolutely nothing. That is not the case. But you get to pick how you work, where you work, right? You get to pick your own schedule, right? If you're someone who likes to go to the gym at 10 a.m, instead of having to wait and going at 5 p.m. when the gym's super busy, you have the luxury now where you could go at 10 a.m. when it's not busy, right? And it's small things like that that are important. If you want to take a sales call from a cafe, go down, grab a coffee, take the sales call, right? You can do that, right? It gives you that flexibility, and those small things are really, really cool and really, really important. Now, it's probably not for you if you're someone who does the bare minimum, right? Depending on the company you work for, obviously you might not put in effort if you don't align with the company, but if you're naturally someone who just likes to put in the bare minimum, right? They like to have a safety cushion, safety blanket, then this probably isn't for you, because again, you typically don't have a base, right? So you have to put in the effort to increase your commissions and make more money. If you're someone who doesn't value location freedom, like if you don't like to travel, then, you know, this might not be for you, right? Because that is a key benefit, and that's one of the main reasons I did it. And if the thought of making 5 to 10K a month doesn't excite you, right, you need a desire to want to make more money, right? Obviously, more money means more freedom, means different things to everyone, right? Financial freedom is a massive buzzword at the moment, but it means different things to different people, right? So for me, it's being able to travel, being able to spend more time with my family, being able to give back to my family. For someone else, it might be something completely different. But if the thought of that doesn't excite you, then again, it's probably not for you. But look, let's be real. Most people, the sound of being able to work from wherever they want, make more money, like why wouldn't you do it? I just don't really understand that. So look, if you are in corporate sales, chances are you've got a pretty decent skill set, you've got a decent work ethic, you're probably making decent money, but you're working long hours, right? You're working for people you don't really like, people who, let's be real, they're dicks, right? You don't like them, they're micromanaging you. So I don't understand why we wouldn't just take your skill set and your work ethic and bring it over to high ticket sales. Yes, it's going to take some adjusting. Yes, there's probably going to be a bit of effort, obviously, that's going to have to go in for you to learn the skill of high ticket sales, because it is different to corporate sales, but you have the work ethic already. So we might as well get you in a vehicle where you're going to make more money and you're going to have more freedom whilst you do it. So look, if you want to find out more, I have done this, right? I've gone from 1K a month working in a hotel to making 15K a month online. I've been transferred 9.3K in a single day, that's pounds. I've gone on holidays to Ibiza with business owners. I've gone to Montenegro, met business owners. I have the freedom. This is such a good example. Like on a whim, this year, I decided, right, I want to run the Rome Marathon. 4 weeks notice, booked it in, went there for 5 days. I didn't need to book in any holiday. I took no holiday pay. I went out there, I worked while I was there a little bit, and I had a great time, right? So it's things like that. Those are the key things, those little things, those little experiences, being able to go on those trips, right, on a whim, right? That is the best thing about this. So if you want to find out more, I've got results. I've worked with guys like James, who was working corporate, helped him increase his close rate. Guys like Jed, who was selling doors. He's now working for a 7-figure company. He did that within 1 month with no high ticket experience. Guys like Rory, who tried to start their own agency, failed. He's now working for a 7-figure company. He's on track to make between 6,000 to 8,000 this month, right? And he's 21, dropped out of uni now. And I've helped other guys like Charles land jobs and interviews with really good companies. So look, not to give you the sales BS, but I can help you, right? I've been there, I've done it. I'm confident I can do it, which is why I'm making this video. But look, that is the overview. So if you are a corporate sales rep, or you're doing some sort of sales, car sales, door sales, paper sales, right? I know I can help you 100%. So I'm going to leave a link in the description to a video that basically gives you a rundown of what high ticket sales is, shows you a bit about my story, what I've done. So I recommend you give that a watch. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can DM me on Instagram, or you can leave a comment below. And yeah, hope this was useful. Cheers, guys.